Good day and welcome to another edition of One-on-One with Swope Health. I am your host, Eric Wesson. Thanks so much for joining us today. We've got a great show planned for you. Our guest today is Ms. Patricia Stoufer, also known as PattiKaKes. She is, what don't you do? You're an author, a film writer, producer, and a freelance movie writer. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's find out about Pat.
Well, I worked at Ford for 32 years. Where
are you from?
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised.
Went to school where?
I went to Linwood, and
Okay.
then I went to True School, and then I went to Southeast, where I graduated in 1981.
Okay.
And
College?
I went to Kansas City Business College to be a court reporter, and dropped out and got married.
Okay.
And then I just went into the world of work because I had 2 kids and a husband and couldn't afford to go back to school.
So what did you do? You went to Ford after at some point in time?
Yes, I did typing jobs. My mom said take typing in school, office jobs, desk jobs, but the pay was good at that time, but there was a lot of typing pools, a lot of desks, just a lot of women, a lot of stuff going on. And so I told my dad one day, I want to work with you. He said, you can't do that kind of work. I said, other women are there. If they can do it, I can do it. Lo and behold, I got there and I cried because I went from an office environment wearing, skirts and dresses and pumps to I had to go buy a pair of tennis shoes. I had to go buy jeans. I didn't own any. And I'm in this factory, and I'm looking around like, oh, no, I don't want to be here. But I told my dad I could do it, so I was there. I was stuck. Mm-hmm. But I cried. I went to the bathroom and cried like, I don't want to be here.
What did I get myself into?
Exactly.
Be careful what you ask for. So when did the writing come into play?
Well, in high school, people when somebody would pass, they would say, can you put a poem on the back of their program? So I started out doing that. People first it started out with family, then with just anybody that would call, hey, can Pat do a poem on the back of this obituary? And so I started doing that, and that's when I realized this comes so easy to me. Maybe this is what I can do. But I knew I could not go back to school. I couldn't afford to go back to school, and I had to work. So I never went and got any education for it. And then in 2012, I just started writing. I wrote a television series, and the words just started filling the page, and I was like, okay, this is my gift because it's coming too easy to me. And then after I wrote that television series, I've written 4 gospel plays. Mm-hmm. I've written this TT's and a Nana, and I've written another movie. And so I just was writing and sitting, holding on to my work, waiting for the Lord to open up a door. And then I met Sean Edwards.
Oh, okay. And he opened the whole door.
And that was that door, that big old door opened up. Yes.
So you said you wrote a TV show. What was the TV show?
A television series. I have not done anything with it. I wrote it, and I'm just sitting
on the shelf.
Yes, waiting for the next door.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so then gospel plays. What were the gospel plays about?
I wrote 4 gospel plays, and one of the main one that I really like of the gospel play, it's about how Jehovah's Witnesses are out there, mm-hmm. knocking on your door in the parking lots, mm-hmm. and we as Christians, we're in church. Mm. So this play is about they're out there getting what we call our people. Well, why aren't we out there? So when we in our normal day life with friends and family or whoever we're around, do we ask them, do you know Jesus? Because the Jehovah's Witnesses are pulling them their way, so how do we pull them back? So that play is about some friends who are confused. Mm-hmm. Which way do I go? Which way is right? And so that play brings out how to know the right path. But as Christians, we got to get out there and grab our people so that they don't get grabbed by the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what that play is about. And then I wrote another play about the resurrection.
Okay. And so where did you go to church growing up?
Oh, growing up, I went to Congressman Cleaver's church.
St. James?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then when we moved, I went to a Baptist church, which my mama didn't care when we were little what church we went to, but she told us you was born a Baptist and you're going to die a Baptist. That's what my mama would always say. So now I go to Macedonia.
Okay.
Yes.
John Brooks.
Yes, John Brooks.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yes.
Okay, so in all of this transition with the writing, go to the doctor and discover you have breast cancer. So tell us about that experience.
Well, I was on the 6-month plan where I had to have a mammogram and an ultrasound every 6 months because I have very dense breast tissue. And a lot of women will have dense breast tissue for no reason at all. They don't know why we do. It's just we do. And so when you have dense breast tissue, the mammogram can't always see what's there. So I was on the 6-month plan, and I have had several biopsies before. I felt something, they cut it out, it was nothing. And that was going on for like 10 years. And then I went in March, and I had the mammogram and the ultrasound, nothing was there. And they scheduled my next appointment, which was September 1st. So in June, I felt something. I didn't even think about it because I'm like, I had all those biopsies before. They were nothing. And I got an appointment on September 1st. I'm just going to wait. Don't ever wait. Because that was the breast cancer. And it was aggressive. It wasn't there at all in March. And it was there in June. And it had grew that fast from June to September. It was an aggressive form of breast cancer. And they had to do aggressive form of chemo. I had 6 cocktails of chemo. And, the chemo is poison in your body, but it takes poison to fight poison.
Really?
And yes, you cannot fight something that dangerous, that bad, with something weak. So they literally had to put poison in my body that could kill me. A lot of people die from chemo instead of the cancer because the kind of stuff they have to put in you can kill you. And then I had to get a shot at my stomach the day after chemo. I had 18 weeks of chemo, which was 6 months. But the day after, I had to go get that shot in my stomach to build my white blood cells back up so that my body can fight. And my chemo treatment was every 3 weeks, only because it took 3 weeks to get me strong enough to get the next dose. Yeah, I had to take off work. I couldn't be around nobody. I go to chemo and home. So I started baking from scratch. I started cooking, sending all the food with my husband because I had metal mouth. Chemo gives you where everything tastes like metal. And you don't want to eat, but you have to eat in order to survive.
Right.
Yeah, it tears your body all the way down to nothing. But when I got the call from the doctor after I had the last mammogram didn't find it. The ultrasound found it. And when he called me and he said, we see something and we think it's cancer, and he was laying out the plan of what we need to do. And I literally got on my knees and I said, God, if this is it, give me what I need to get through it. And I said, if this ain't it, lift me up and help me, to bear it. And while I was battling this cancer, he came to me and he said, this ain't what's taking you out, but it's going to be a fight. And boy, was it a fight. I mean, I can just be around my husband, and he was amazing in helping me with this. I couldn't be around my mom and my sisters. If I caught a cold, I could die. I was not strong enough to fight a cold. That's how bad chemo is. And that the little 2 months in between me finding it and the doctor doing the mammogram, it grew that fast. So if you miss anything, women, if you miss any mammograms, you don't know how fast something is growing in your body. And that's why I want to tell people don't ever miss. Because when I found that in June is when I should have went. But because I had an appointment in September, I didn't go.
He said, it'll
right. I'm like, I'm going in September anyway.
Right.
And all the other biopsies was nothing. And that was my cancer. And I have 7 sisters, and, none of them have cancer. It was just that 1 in 7. I mean, cancer's still a mystery. And somewhat it is a mystery, and then somewhat some of the things we eat, shampoos, whatever, perms. I was getting my hair permed in high school. We don't know what done it, but there's a lot of things that we look at now and be like, oh, you know what? That could have caused cancer. That could have caused cancer. So, and then the stuff they inject in food, you just don't know. So that's why you got to go to the doctor. Don't miss appointments. Get your mammograms, and not just women, men. Because I have a friend, a male who had breast cancer. Yeah, and a lot of men think that they're immune from breast cancer, but they're not. We all have breast tissue. And so I had the double mastectomy, and then my chemo was after that. I didn't have to do radiation because I had them both removed, totally removed. So there was nothing to radiate, which I'm glad I didn't have to do that. And while I was going through this, I was thinking of stories to write, because I knew when God told me, this ain't it, that there's going to be life after this. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to do with my life after this. I'm going to write. And I'm going to keep writing, and then till the door open up. And like I said, and then God said he's going to put people in place, and he's doing that. He's putting people in place for me to help me. I think we all got a gift from God. We were born with whatever that gift is. And my gift is the gift to gab. If I can talk it, I can write it. And I'm a storyteller. I'm not a writer. I'm a storyteller. And when you use the gift that God gave you, you're going to soar. But you have to stay connected to who gave you the gift so that he can show you the path. And he's showing me the path, and he's putting people in place. And I've had people since 2012 take advantage because they're out there. Oh, you wrote this, I can do this, this, and this. And we just shout out money and money and money and money, and nothing happened. And so it's like I'm sitting on my work now, waiting for the doors. And, when Sean's a part of the Boone Theater, and he was like, hey, this is your home. You can do your work here. You're going to be the first one that we want to do a project here. What is it you want to do? And I'm thinking, well, I got this comedy. So I figured if I came out with this comedy stage play, just to, we need some laughter right now.
Yeah, we need a whole lot of laughter.
We need some laughter, some love, some tears, some grace. And this play is going to give everybody that. So I'm like, I wanted to introduce PattiKaKes through 3 TTs and a Nana first.
Okay.
Yes. And then after that, hopefully Kansas City knows who PattiKaKes is. Then I can come out with something else. But I figured laughter was the best way to go right now.
The experience led you down the path of writing. You just took advantage of that moment. So what are some of the things that you think about that are writing about? I know you said humor and going through that phase, but what are some of the things that you see that are missing when you look at films and when you look at stage plays?
Well, actually, I'll answer that this way. I don't want to leave out any audience of people, but I want to show that God has his hand in everything. But if I say this is a gospel play, I'm only getting that audience.
Right.
So what's missing in everything is the hand of God. So I'm like, I will have a subliminal message in everything I write to show God, but not in your face. Because when you say gospel, you're getting that crowd. But you have to meet people where they are, just like Jesus did. So if I'm meeting you where you are, I got to put out something that you want to see. Because if I only chose Christian work, I'm only preaching to the choir. But I got to go out there and show those people too. And they want to see this type of film. So I'm writing all different types of work so that all different types of people can see. But while they're watching it, there will be a subliminal message to say, Jesus is real. And so that's what's missing in a lot of work today. And I don't know. I know people have reasons why they don't do it, but that is my plan to do it. And hopefully there's a platform for me to do it. But it won't be in your face in everything I do, but there will be, you will know, I love the Lord in my work. You will know that he's alive in my work. And that's my plan. And then I think that there's not a lot of positive spins for our inner city. We all like, the Boys in the Hood movies and all those. I like that's good entertainment. But I think we need more of the positive spins on, people of color. And I want to do that as well because, just right here in Kansas City, we have a lot of powerful people, a lot of people that's doing big things in the small, like the little engine that could. That's why I say I am. And I think that's what Kansas City is. And the world needs to see Kansas City as we can. Yes, we can, And I want to do that through my writing.
Do you think you'll do something about your journey with breast cancer? Because I was intrigued just listening to you talk about it because I never knew anything about the metal mouth and the cocktail. My aunt, one of my favorite aunts, died from breast cancer, and she was going through chemo and all of those treatments. But I never knew that she experienced what you just talked about.
Yeah, I would love to do something personal about me, but I figured people don't want to hear about you if they don't know you. So once they know me through, hopefully, PattiKaKes, and through some other work, and then I'll say, okay, look, this is my story. And then they'll be interested in wanting to hear my story. But yeah, I think that my story needs to be out there in more detail. So like you said, you were not aware, and it brings awareness to people. And there's a lot of things while you're going through chemo that you can do to help you survive the chemo. Like I said, when I didn't want to eat, because, it tastes horrible, and it's called metal mouth. It's like you're eating a metal fork. So you don't want to eat, but if you don't eat, you'll die. So I was drinking Boost. I would drink 3 of those a day. I was eating tangerines, oranges, because they didn't taste bad. And I ate chicken noodle soup, even though it had a lot of sodium. Those were the things that I can get down that didn't have this much metal taste. But that was for 6 months what I did. And I would force myself to drink 3 Boosts a day just to have my body fed, and because some people, and then you don't want to, it makes you want to sleep all day. And the doctor says, when you wake up, you walk down the steps and sit in a chair for 2 hours, then walk back up the steps and take a nap for 2 hours, walk to the furthest bathroom. And it took me forever to get down the steps. I'm so weak and fragile. I had to hold on to the rail and walk really slow so that I didn't fall down the steps. But you cannot let yourself sleep all day. It's overtaking you. You have to sit up, and you have to walk in your house, and and then the devil gets in your head. One night I was scared to go to sleep because Satan told me, he said, you're not going to wake up. And he tells you that, and you try to block him out, but he's in there strong. He's in there strong, telling you, this is it. You're not going to wake up. You're not going to wake up. And I was so scared to go to sleep one night. And even though I'm steady praying and steady talking to the Lord, the more you talk to God, the more Satan's coming at you.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
and it was a battle.
Right.
It was a battle, and you see the Lord won, but it was a battle. So you have to figure out a way to block all that out. And then you know how people, when you tell people you got cancer, that word scares people. They immediately go into the darkest place of their mind, and then they come out with this sympathy. And then they, some of them want to panic and go off because that word, that with the big C word, scares them. But there's another word with the C that's bigger than that, and it's Christ.
Okay,
and so
now.
You battle that little C with this big C.
I don't have to go to church Sunday now. Come
on. Because people need to know. Yeah, that word scares people. But then there's another word with the C that's bigger than that. But so I started telling people, when we discuss this, we're going to use another word, because using that word, you automatically go into this frantic. So I started calling mine a splinter. I said, when you want to talk to me about it, call me and say, how is it going with your splinter? I said, and you're more calm and I'm more calm. And I said, it's a splinter, and they plucked it out. And that's a calmer word. So if that helps people when they're going through it, is not use a calmer word to describe it, and take that word that people are scared of out of it. But if you're going to use that word, then say, I'm overpowering that word with another C word.
So when you're writing, I want to shift back to the writing, because breast cancer affects Black women more than any other group of women, and the things that the families go through in order to help survive the breast cancer with a family member. I think that's a great concept. But let me ask you this: where do you get your ideas or your thoughts to write your plays? It's
so weird. When I wrote this play, I was thinking of the Golden Girls.
The T.T. and Nana?
Yeah, when I wrote 3 T.T. and Nana, I was thinking of the Golden Girls because a lot of people watch the Golden Girls. I watched the Golden Girls. But they were 4 women that were not blood related, but they had a sisterhood, and they were wealthy women, retired, and they lived together. So I was like, okay, I have some friends in real life that I'm that close to. But we're not all the same ethnicity. I'm African American, one's Asian, one's Hispanic, and one's Caucasian, and we are just as close. So based on that friendship, I wrote this 3 TTs and a Nana. So in my play, the 4 women are those 4 ethnicities. The play is fictional, but the friendship is based on my real friendship. And I wanted people to know you can be just as close and have a sisterhood with somebody that does not look like you.
So how did you get Tony Terry to participate?
I got Darkest Gates.
And you got Darkest Gates.
Well, I got Darkest Gates.
Kansas City native.
I met Darkest Gates through a friend, Tucker Lott. He had an event at his house, and I met her there. And then she was doing a Christmas program for him, and I went to that program, and we exchanged numbers, and we started, doing dinners and lunch and hanging out. And I just asked her one day, I said, I wrote this play. Would you be interested in doing this play? And she read the script, and she said, I'm in. And then one day she called me, and she says, I have a friend call me and say, what are you doing? And she said, I'm doing this play. And he says, see if there's a role in there for me. So she called me with this friend on the three-way, and she said, hey, my friend want to know, do you have a role for him? And I was like, well, who is he? And she said, Tony Terry. And I was like, huh? She said, the Tony Terry. I said, I know who you're talking about. And he said, how you doing? And I was like, okay, this is Tony Terry. He said, yeah. I said, if I didn't have a role for you, I will create one for you. I said, you're interested in being in my play? And that's how that happened. That is the close friend of Darkest's. Yes.
And she has a lot of ties like that. People don't really realize, and I guess Scripture says you're not a prophet in your own land, and she's just a diamond jewel here locally, and she just never really gets the props that I think she deserves being here locally.
Yeah, she knows a lot of people.
She knows a lot of people.
She's sung with a lot of famous people. She's done a lot, and I'm grateful that she decided to do my play and bring on Tony Terry. Okay. So yeah, I have 2 Emmy winners in my play.
Get out of here.
My first gig out the gate, I got 2 Emmy Award winners. And I'm like, God said He will put people in place.
That's right.
And look at Him. My first out the gate, I got 2 Emmy winners.
And you got Sean Edwards.
And Sean Edwards is the one that gave me the courage to say, yes, you can do this. He may not know that, but when he gave me that phone call, I was like, okay, it's happening. And I was like, and I gave God the props. I said, thank you, Jesus. And so, yeah, when I met Sean, I'm thinking it's just me meeting Sean. But no, God had His hand in that. There's no doubt in my mind. And then when he called me with saying, okay, we want you to, this is your home, do your work here. What do you want to do? And I was like, that is nothing but the Lord, because He's putting people in place. He's not knocking on your door asking you, can He use you? He's using you whether you know it or not. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, Sean gave me the courage to go ahead. Because like I said, I got a lot of work that I've just been sitting on. Mm-hmm. Waiting for that door.
And so May the 9th is going to be at the Scottish Rite Temple.
At 6 p.m.
At 6 p.m.
One show only.
Why just one show?
Well, the theater is so huge.
Uh-huh.
It seats 1,700 people. And then I said, I wanted to come out the gate. It's almost like if you limit something, people want it.
Right.
They want what they can't get.
Okay.
So if there's many shows, people can say, well, I'll go to this one, I'll go to one show. Oh, wow. I got to go to this one because I may not get to see it again. So it was almost like not a teaser, but saying, hey, I got 2 award Emmy winners in my play. It's a comedy, blah, blah, blah. One show only, Kansas City. Come on, let's show up and show out. And they are showing up. My ticket sales are doing very well.
And that's good because people in Kansas City wait to the last minute to go buy a ticket.
And that's
why so many concerts cancel, because the ticket sales are so slow.
And so for me to have this much love from Kansas City, so early on, I'm like, I know it's the Lord's hand, because, they don't know PattiKaKes. Yeah, I went to school here. I was raised here, but all of Kansas City don't know PattiKaKes, but they showing up.
So let me ask you this. How long does it take to write a play like this?
It took me 7 days to write this one.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you, it's a gift. When I had the concept of I wanted to do a Golden Girls reboot based on my own friendships, and then I just sat there and I started writing. And then, the words are filling the page, and then when I get a block, I stop, and then I pop up, I go back up there and write, and in 7 days I had the script written. So
you write the script for all the characters that are in the play.
Yes.
You create the character, you bring that person to life, then you go to the next person, bring them to life, and then you tie it all in together.
Well,
is that how
as
that
I'm
goes?
writing the story, the characters are intertwined. So I'm creating the characters as I'm writing the story. So when I first started writing, you know, it was based on the 4 women. So those 4 were already there. And then after I started got halfway through, I came up with the title. After I didn't have a title at first, I just had the concept in my head. Then after I started, I'm like, okay, you know, you got these women, you know, like kind of when my mom had her close friends, they were our TTs. They were our aunts, even though they wasn't blood related. They were always at the house, you know, and so we were like their nieces and they were our aunts. And I'm like, okay, I need some kids because there's going to be 3 TTs and a Nana, you know, so the Nana has her grandkids there. And so those are her TTs. So then I had to add those 2 characters. So as I'm writing, I'm adding the characters in as I go. You know, and then I had another script, and I was like, okay, in the Golden Girls, you had Blanche, who was the flirty one.
Right.
So I had to have a flirty one, and mine is the Asian woman. Mine is Lily. So then I had to have a character, a boyfriend character. And then I had to have her flirting with a character at the airport. You know, so yes. And so the characters started coming along as I'm filling out the script. And while I'm writing, the ideas are popping in while I'm writing. I'm like, oh, I got this idea, and I got that. And they were just coming.
Okay, so who's Dorothy?
Who's
Dorothy and the Golden Girls?
Okay, that would be Darkest, but the house that they're living in would be Darkest's house, the role that she's playing. So in this play, the wealthy one is Darkest. She's playing Tessa. She's the one who they move into her house. Okay. Yes, so she's
Blanche to a degree.
Right, but she's not the flirty one like Blanche. She's the wealthy one like Blanche because it's her house. And so in her house down the street it's called the Lipstick Cafe. So they go there and they eat breakfast sometimes. But at night it's a karaoke thing. So the ladies come over every day to go down there and karaoke. And so she just comes up with the idea, you hear all the time, why don't you just move in? Sell your houses. And that's how they come. And that's in the play where they all come to live there. Well, lo and behold, I ain't going to give too much of the play away.
I don't want you to.
Yes. But yeah, there's some twists and turns in there.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm excited already. May the 9th is going to be at the Scottish Rite Temple.
Yes.
And who are the other people that are in the play?
We have, one of the...
Are they local or
They're all local except for Tony Terry.
Okay.
All the rest of them are local. But one of the ladies in the play is one of the actual friends of mine that the friendship is based on. Just one of them. She's actually, the Caucasian woman in the play is one of my close friends that we base the friendship on. And she's actually in the play.
Are you in the play?
I am not.
Okay.
I don't act. I love the writing part. I love the behind the scenes part. And so that's the part I'll always take, unless somebody, some big producer say, hey, I got something for you. I'm like, okay, let me see. But no, that is my role, is to just do what, the gift that God gave me. I love the writing part.
So as we wrap up, one of the things that Sean said, Boone Theater is going to be your stomping grounds when it opens up.
Yes, it is.
So are you excited about writing plays or writing scripts or doing something for that program?
I am overly excited to be a part of the Boone. I mean, that was an honor when he told me that. I mean, I didn't ever think that I would get that phone call from Sean Edwards.
Okay.
Saying, this is your home.
Okay.
And you're free to do your work here. And I mean, I'm like, but God, because how did I end up getting that phone call? So yes, I'm overly thrilled, overly excited to write and produce work at the Boone.
So how did you meet Sean? Just with the phone call? How did he hear about you? How did he hear about you?
A phone call. We see Sean on TV, and I was like, you know what? I done reached people in Houston, Texas that took my money, in California that took my money, people that's not even local, in Florida that took my money. And I'm like, there's a local guy right here. I was like, I'm going to just reach out and see what happens. And he answered, he took the call.
Okay.
And he said, why come you didn't reach out to me before? I said, I did not know you were reachable. And
Sean
I didn't
Edwards?
know. Yeah, I didn't know. He's right here. And I'm going to all these other places getting these people that ripped me off. And he's right here.
Right.
I didn't know he would pick up the phone. I didn't know he was reachable, but he is.
Sean's pretty cool.
Yes, he is. I'm telling you.
Cool. When I grow up, I want to be like Sean.
Yes. So so I will never forget Sean Edwards. I believe that I'm going to soar because the Lord told me where I am. So I'm going to soar, and there is Sean right with me because I'm not forgetting people that God put in place to help me.
All right.
Yes.
PattiKaKes, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing more great work from you. This play, I'm excited to hear about it and possibly be able to go see it. And we're going to promote it in the newspaper. I got the press release and all the information that I'll put in the paper this week. So happy to meet you. Good luck, continued success, and let God continue to guide your path, and you'll be okay.
Thank you very much for having me. And hopefully you'll follow all my work because it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot. I'm excited already.
Yes. I appreciate you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Our guest was Pat Stoufer. She is also known as PattiKaKes, and she's going to be doing some great things here in the Kansas City area. And we're excited and looking forward for those things to happen. As always, I've got the greatest viewing audience in the world. Till next time, remember, tough times don't last. Tough people do. Until next time, peace.